Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19 folks. Some Indiana Fever news for you. Kelly Krauskopf, the new president of basketball and business operations, has basically held her first sort of introduction press conference for the Indiana Fever. Kelly goes way back with the Fever. She was around when they drafted Kelsey Mitchell. She was with the Pacers when they got Tyrese Halliburton. She, of course, fired Lynn Dunn, sort of, took her out of the GM role, moved her to special advisor, brought in Amber Cox, who has. It'll be interesting where the soccer. Sorry, Amber Cox actually has a long history in soccer as well with MLS. But anyway, it will be what I was going to say is it'll be interesting to see where the player decisions come from, the roster decisions in terms of what the draft is going to look like in terms of free agency or trades, because Amber Cox is really a business person who has worked in sports and done very well with it. I think she was a GM for the Mercury as for like 2 months when they fired the previous GM in like August of 2013 or something like that. And she was the GM until October. So I wonder if the roster decisions are going to come more from Kelly, how much input she's going to get from Lynn Dunn in that as well. But Kelly's obviously got a track record and a good track record at what she does. Amber Cox, same thing. Sounds great for the Fever, right? Fantastic stuff. We're moving in the right direction, folks. I thought so as well. But then I heard a little bit of what Kelly had to say in her press conference, and I was reminded that we are in the WNBA. Yes, this is an ongoing episode of the Three Stooges. So Kelly gets asked about Christie Sides. Yes, the Christie Sides that is still employed as the Indiana Fever head coach somehow, some way. And we thought maybe with these changes, that would mean Christie Sides is on her way out. However, Kelly Krauskopf may have something different in mind. Here we go.
Than Tony.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned evaluating everything. Just kind of looking back on this season, last season, kind of from across the street, just how would you evaluate Christie Sides and kind of her performance as a first-time head coach so far?
Yeah. I mean, what a roller coaster ride for her. I was smart enough to know that the schedule was stacked against a young team early in the season, and the way that they weathered the storm, got into a groove, after the Olympic break. I mean, I think she finished 18-12, after those first 10 games, and then of course went 7-4 in the last 11, and 3 of those losses were against teams in the finals. So for a young team to make that kind of progress, I mean, it's hard to not be impressed. I think the outside noise, what she had to endure as a coach and what they had to endure as a staff to keep that team focused and together. I mean, it takes time. It took a long time for teams that I've had to gel and to get together. I mean, years. It doesn't happen in 4 months. It takes a few years. So I was really impressed with the progress that they made and how, Christie is a resilient leader. She's a culture builder. I know just that she's got that kind of, stamina to stick to it and stick to her plan. And she's a good person and she's a great leader. And I was impressed with the way they finished.
So much to unpack. Let me start with this, Kelly Krauskopf. Bleep me gently with a chainsaw. Shout out to anyone who can get that movie reference in the comments below. This was like a dagger to the heart. You might as well throw me off a building. This hurts my heart. The way the Eagles refusing to fire Nick Sirianni hurts my heart. Are you kidding me with this stuff? Culture, really? It takes years for a team to gel? Now, look, I get maybe the whole, oh, you have a young team and they're going to get better and better over seasons in terms of being the best they can be and winning championships and what have you. But no, it doesn't take years to get a team to gel. No coach in sports today gets years for their team to gel. It absolutely does not happen. It is win now, folks. Win now. I mean, were you not paying attention all season? Did you not see Christie Sides' non-reaction to what Kennedy Carter did? And then her excuse after the game and how, oh, she didn't see it, despite it was where the ball was being inbounded. And then later on in the season, she's sprinting onto the court when Kelsey Mitchell got into it with, I believe, if I remember correctly, Natasha Cloud. Correct me if I'm wrong, when they were playing the Phoenix Mercury. Christie Sides cannot draw up an effective play when needed, and she never makes Caitlin Clark an option. She sidelines her in the half-court offense. She will go put her in a corner. She refuses to allow the team to do what it does best, which is run. It's all about touches in the paint, regardless of how bad that is for the Indiana Fever. No idea, still no idea when it is appropriate to call a timeout or to challenge a call. She never stands up for her players, never stands up for her players. No idea how to create an effective offense, especially a half-court offense, which she tries to force the team into doing, other than force the ball into the paint while everyone else stands around. She does not understand talent and how to use it, whether it's Christy Wallace or what she was doing with Erica Wheeler earlier in the season, or how she handled Melissa Smith or Katie Lou Samuelson, or even how she handles the talent of Caitlin Clark. She is repeatedly and has not changed from throwing her players under the bus to the media. She shares personal conversations with players with the media. She has never taken responsibility for anything and always puts the blame on her players. And no, goofy games during the Olympic break did not make the team better. Absolutely crazy. I mean, I've even seen Fever fans on. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to say Twitter, and it's supposed to be X, and that's really always throwing me off. But anyway, crazy Fever fans are saying she should come back. She deserves to come back because they made the playoffs. Coaches that make the playoffs get fired all the time if they're not good coaches and they underperform. The Fever made the playoffs despite Christie Sides. By the way, when I pointed that out, some Fever fans actually blocked me. I mean, Fever fans blocking me, that's interesting. But what is really also has me worried, what I should say, what also has me really worried is not just that high praise of Christie Sides, but I think I know where it might be coming from. And this is a problem as well, because we all know that Lynn Dunn absolutely loves Christie Sides. So let's listen to this next question. It's actually conveniently a very good follow-up to the one about Christie Sides.
Go Tony up front, then Adam in the back.
Kelly, the path from Lynn to Amber, how much was Lynn involved in that decision versus you? How did that kind of come to pass in your front office?
Well, you know Coach Dunn, and she was absolutely, we had her, we were in the conversation together. When Mel and I talked about sort of a leadership plan, obviously brought Lynn into the conversation, and she raised her hand. She's like, Chief, I'll do whatever you need for me to do, whatever I need to do to help. I think she's thrilled that there's a path of succession. There's a leadership group that we have set up to continue moving and create stability and consistency. Lynn is a lifer. I mean, she's a lifer Fever. She's a lifer in this game, and she's a lifelong friend to me. and has been a mentor to me too. We've helped each other through all these years. The best years of my career, honestly, were working with her, and so I'm looking forward to her, as she calls it, her senior advisor role. She has so much knowledge and insight into needs of teams and rosters that we'll be leaning on her quite a bit.
Now, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. That last part, I'm okay with. Lynn Dunn has that kind of knowledge for all her years in the game about what's going on with teams and rosters. So you're talking about potential free agents, potential trades, that sort of thing. Fantastic. However, the comment she made about Lynn Dunn being such a good friend and being a mentor as well, and we all know how Lynn Dunn feels about Christie Sides. That makes me wonder if Kelly Krauskopf is going to go against what has to be her instincts of moving on from Christie Sides. I have to believe that is what she feels is the best interest of the Indiana Fever, and she may very well not do it because of Lynn Dunn. And that is a terrifying thought. That is a terrifying, terrifying thought. I want to show you something. For those of you that don't know, uh, Robert Salah, the head coach of the New York Jets. Oh, should I say ex head coach of the New York Jets, because he was just fired after a 2-3 start. This is a few seconds of a I don't want to say conversation. I don't want to say incident either, but just something that happened between him and future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers during the Patriots game. And a lot of people are pointing to this as this is the moment that the head coach lost his job for the New York Jets. Take a look at this. Take a look at the body language. Take a look at that. Does that look at all familiar to any of you? Does that look at all familiar to any of you in terms of body language? Some of the things we've seen with the Indiana Fever, the players, multiple times with Caitlin Clark. When Christie Sides, we've seen her grab her arm many times when she's walked past her, and Caitlin Clark would shake her off. We've seen the reluctant hugs, so to speak, as you see. We saw even with other players on the team, we saw them gather around. I've shown in other videos where they just can't believe they're basically tuning out Christie Sides. We've seen Caitlin Clark shaking her head in frustration and disgust on the bench. I'm telling you, now look, you're not going to get Caitlin Clark. Everything we know about Caitlin Clark, you are not going to get her to try and get Christie Sides to be fired. That just does not seem like the type of player and type of person that she is. However, if Kelly looks at the season as a whole and pays attention to that stuff as well, I don't know how you keep Christie Sides going forward, because that I don't look. I'm not saying if it's just that, hey, you have to fire, because you know what? I'm not a fan of a lot of entitled diva overpaid athletes getting their coaches fired because really of something that is probably inherently selfish coming from that player. But that being said, when you have that on top of terrible coaching, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Forget the Caitlin Clark stuff. Christie Sides has shown that she's just not a very good head coach. And if she wanted to take all those years of experience that she's had as an assistant on various teams and in various leagues around the world, go be a head coach somewhere else first. At least get some experience as a head coach before you're thrust into the supposed top professional league in the world. But right or wrong, like what you saw with Aaron Rodgers, and like I said, I lean towards wrong most of the time, but star power is an element of coach job security. And right now, respectfully, sorry, Caitlin Clark, she's got far more star power and leverage than Aaron Rodgers does, but I just don't think she's going to use it. But what is really important to understand here, Kelly, Christie Sides is not the one. Caitlin Clark is the one. The clock is always ticking. Careers are short. Come on now. For all of you old timers, if you're listening, I doubt any of you are, Do you believe Diana Taurasi is, what, 42? Right? It happens fast. Time is limited for athletic careers. The clock is always ticking. There are no years to gel, Kelly. Don't waste time. Don't waste another year of Caitlin Clark on your team by keeping Christie Sides as the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Absolutely insane. I'm going to leave it there, though. I really appreciate you checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about what you think. I mean, look, I get it. Maybe Kelly's just blowing smoke and she's like, oh, that's the kind of thing she has to say while they're quietly looking before they get rid of Christie Sides. It's a possibility. So, and if so, thank you. Thank you, Kelly. But yeah, that made me cringe a little bit hearing some of those things. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.